Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the battery on this MacBook Pro model A1502. I believe this is a mid-2014 model. So first what you're going to want to do is remove all the screws from the bottom. This is using a Pentalobe 1.2, excuse me, or a P5. Alright, so just remove all the screws. Keep them in order because they are different size, shapes, and lengths. You don't want to get them mixed up. The two back here are smaller. Alright. So it's always a good idea to keep the same screws in the same spot. You don't want to get them mixed up. Alright. Just like this. I'm most likely going to have to clean this one up. So I'm going to probably have to pause the video once I get the bottom cover off. Alright, just like this. Alright, so 4 across the top, 4 along the bottom, and then 1 on either side. Total 10 screws on the bottom. Alright. Once you get all of those 10 screws off, just go on the back here where the hinge is, and then you can pull this up. And there's some clips in here, but you just kind of pull it up, wiggle it like that, and it should come out. So here I can see there's a bunch of dust, so I am going to clean this up and I will be back. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned it out. There was a loose screw from the fan, so I need to put that back in. Alright, this isn't really part of the battery replacement repair, but this is using a PH or JIS 0 screw. This screw just was loose and fell out here, so I'm going to put it back. Okay, I'm going to tighten these up too, just in case. Okay, that side doesn't really have one, I think. Alright. Okay, so after you get the bottom cover off, you're going to want a Torx 5 or T5 screwdriver. We're going to disconnect the battery. Hopefully you already powered off your Mac. But yeah, you just shut it down. And then to remove the battery, there's this part here. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see it better. Alright, so I just grab that with my fingernails, and then I kind of pull on the edge of it, just like this, okay? So just go on like that on the corners, and then pull it up. There we go, just like that. That's how you disconnect the battery. Then we're going to remove the screw here using the T5 screwdriver. Okay, again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shapes, and lengths. We're going to also remove both speakers to make it easier. So let me zoom out a little bit. Alright, so just take out the 3 screws holding the speaker in place. Again, they are different size, shape, and lengths, so don't get them mixed up. Alright. The way I keep them in order, I put them in my desk in the layout that I'm pulling them out. So if you can see, this is kind of like an L shape. That's just how I put the screws on my desk, okay? Alright, and then to take this speaker out, you just lift it up here. Alright, and then once you do that, you can kind of swing this over. Alright, once you get it cleared past this metal part of this bracket, get your fingernail or pry tool underneath. There is some adhesive there, so you kind of have to pull it up. Once you get it as close as you can to the connector, you just kind of twist it a little bit and it pops out just like that. Okay, so that's how you get out the speaker. We'll do the same with the other side. There's also 3 screws here. This speaker I'm not going to disconnect. I'm just going to move it out of the way because the connector's underneath this, and I don't need to remove all of that. If you want, you can remove it so it doesn't get in your way. So the speaker doesn't get in your way while you're working on it, but it's usually not a big deal. So I just leave it in there. Okay, just like that. Then you're going to need a thin pry tool like this. You can use a card or something. Some people will use plastic tools, but I just use this metal. It's like a frosting spatula, but it's actually, this one was designed, I think, for like counting like pills and stuff at a pharmacy. So anyways, I got the speaker up. I'm gonna just peel this a little bit to move it out of the way. So just out of the way like that. Excuse me. Then I'm going to use the pry tool, and we're just going to go underneath all these battery packs to scrape it out. So just like this underneath. And then I just use the tool, kind of go underneath like that, and that cuts the adhesive layer. Okay, so you want to just do this all the way down. Once you get this battery pack up, you go on to the next one. Same thing. Sometimes it's more difficult than others. It depends on what kind of adhesive. Apple kind of switches it around sometimes. And if you're wondering, the battery model for this is here, A1502. So you want to check your battery to make sure it's the correct model that you buy. All right, so we'll go to the other side now. Same thing. We're just going to cut the adhesive. All right. Just go along like that. Okay, just like that. Go to the next one. Okay. And as you can hear, the tool actually hits a metal bracket here, or a raised metal area. So for the middle pieces, we actually have to lift the tool slightly to get underneath. So let me see if I can show this. So if you look underneath here, the trackpad area is actually raised. So you have to lift the tool slightly up and then go underneath from there. And when you go to pry out this part of the thing, make sure that your tool doesn't go up this way. You want it to go down that way, because if you go up, you can damage, there's the keyboard cable here and the trackpad cable here, and those go under here. So if you cut the tool in that way, you can actually end up damaging those cables. And those can be very expensive or time consuming or tricky to replace. So you really don't want to end up damaging those. All right, so this is going to be a little bit difficult to do on camera because I have to use my body to keep this from moving around. So then I use the tool going this way. Okay, so again, you have to clear the bottom of that trackpad area. All right, and then you can go this way. So here you can see, if you go, you can see the tool coming out the side that way, so that's fine. You can go that way to cut the adhesive, and then just pull the tool back. Usually I just only do one pack. I don't do the other side. I spin the whole computer around to get to the other side. Okay, so again, just do the same thing. It's easy to start from this bottom side and then slowly work your way up. All right, as you can see. Just like that. All right, and then you can kind of test it by sliding the tool from the bottom all the way up and see if it goes all the way. All right, and when you get near the top, you can kind of just pry it up, or you can just carefully try and cut over to the other side, but you want to be very careful again because the keyboard and trackpad cables are over there. Okay, all right, so there we go. Just like that. Now we're going to flip it over or rotate it, and we're going to do this side. Same thing, you can start from the bottom here. Okay. And then we're just going to cut it, make sure. Okay. All right. So we lift it up, get the tool to go. There we go. And just work all the way across. I think I have a customer that's here right now, so, oh man, wasn't expecting them to be here already, so I might have to pause the video and go out and talk with them. But hopefully you get the idea. We're just cutting all this adhesive underneath. And you want to be careful, because if you cut through these battery packs, you can damage them and it can start a fire. So I've never had that issue, but just as a warning, if you want to avoid that possibility, you can drain the battery completely, and then there's a lot less chance anything like that could happen. All right, so now I'm just peeling up the battery like this. All right, and then we're going to go ahead, peel up this side, and then pull the battery out. So there we go. That's how you remove the battery. So we got the old broken one. You can toss that aside. All right, and then what we got to do is remove all this old residue. So my customer's here, I'll be back, and I'll see you guys in a bit. We'll continue removing the residue and replacing the battery. All right, sorry about that. We'll recontinue the process. So now what we got to do is just remove all this sticker residue stuff. So I like to use this tool to kind of scrape it up. And if I can peel it up enough, then I can use that to grab onto, and then I can peel it off easier usually. But usually these parts where it's like small bits, I'll have to physically like just scrape them all completely. Okay, we'll just go like this. I think I need a separate phone for recording because I keep getting calls. Alright, so we'll just peel this up. Just like this. Okay, we'll just continue. Okay, just peel it up like that. Then grab the thing and slowly peel it. Just like this. Alright, and you want to peel it slowly. If you peel it fast, it will usually tear, so kind of want to do this slowly. Okay, just like this. Alright. Just peel it up. Just like that. Okay, just like this. We'll continue peeling off this stuff. Alright, this one is actually peeling off pretty nicely. Again, you kind of want to peel it slowly. If you peel it slowly, there's more chance that you'll be able to get it all out without it tearing. Okay. Alright. Continue down this side. Just like this. This stuff's all torn, so we're just gonna have to scrape it up. There. Alright, just keep peeling it all up. Uh-oh, another customer just messaged me and said they're here. to finish. I'm almost done. So I'm gonna finish this and then I will answer the door. Uh-oh, they're calling again. Okay. All right, so we got all of that out. Now we're going to put in the new battery. So usually the new battery, this one the customer brought to me, but usually we'll have a plastic on top. This one doesn't have that. So we're just gonna drop it in place. We're gonna peel off this adhesive protective layer. Okay. And then try and hold all the battery packs in place. Line up the bottom down here. Make sure the screw hole lines up at the top here for the battery. Okay. That's important, of course. Make sure that screw hole can line up. If it doesn't line up, then you're gonna have a tough time. Okay, my customer's here, so I'm gonna put this in and I will be back, all right? So just drop it in like that and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So we got the battery in. So now we're gonna put back that screw. That was the T5 screw. Okay, make sure to get the Torx 5-bit. And hopefully that battery is lined up enough. It didn't line up quite right, so I have to kind of like pull this over. So just like this. And then hopefully while I can get it lined up that way while I put in the screw. Okay. Just like that. There we go. All right. Then you want to put back the speakers, of course. All right. Make sure they're not all twisted up. Get that cable, make it stick back down. Line that up. There we go. And then we'll put these screws back in, just like this. Yeah, it's hard to work on this stuff while so many people are like texting and calling me. All right, tighten those down. Okay, then get this speaker, put it at an angle like this, get the cable underneath. All right, to attach it, just push it back on top, down like that. Get all these screws, put them back in. Usually I always put them loosely at first, just to make sure that everything is lined up. And then tighten it down, just like that. Alright, now that all three are tightened down, you want to lift this up. And then the way you put this, the easiest way, is you line up the top edge. Let me see if I can zoom in and show this. So you line up the top corners like that, and then you just push it down. Make sure it's pushed down all the way. Oops. There we go, just like that. Then you go ahead and get the cover. Oops, and put this back on. Clip those two middle clips back in. And then we put back all the screws, the pentalobe or P5 or pentalobe 1.2 screws. Again, the two smallest ones are here. And after you finish putting all these screws, or you can test it before you put back all the screws just to make sure everything works. But we're going to do a PRAM and SMC reset. Anytime you change any hardware components, it's a good idea to do a PRAM and SMC reset. It basically resets like the BIOS kind of settings where it keeps track of hardware things that were connected. It wipes out and it resets like the volume to the max and the brightness, things like that. Sometimes the Macs will have issues, and then if you do that, it'll solve that problem. So I'm gonna run that. If you want to see specifically what PRAM and SMC resets, you'll want to Google that to see what exactly it does. It doesn't delete any of your information on your computer, but yeah, I just find that it helps the computer a lot of the times when you do a hardware change. Okay. So first we're going to do an SMC reset. What you want to do, take your charger, alright, plug it into the Mac. The light should, if it's not charged to like 90-something%, it should be orange like this. To do SMC reset, Control-Option-Shift on the left side, and then the power button. The computer's turning itself on, so I'm going to wait on that. I don't want to force shut it off while it's still running or while it's in the middle of booting. That can cause some issues. So I'm going to let that finish booting up. Alright. I might have pushed the button in time for it to go into recovery mode because it's booting pretty slow. So let me wait for it and make sure. Okay, sorry for the long waiting process. Come on. Okay, it's booting. Okay, it did boot normally, so I'm going to have to shut this down. Make sure the computer's completely off. You can tell because this Apple light, there we go, turned off. Okay, so what you want to do, Control Option Shift on the left side or Control Alt Shift on the left side, and when you press the power button, this light actually goes to green, and then you wait, it goes back to orange. That's how you know you did SMC reset properly. To do a PRAM reset, turn on the Mac, Command Option P and R. You just hold that. You'll see the screen lights up and then it turns back off. That's how you know you did it right. On some Macs, it'll actually make the boot sound twice like this. So if the sound was off, it won't make the boot sound. But if your sound was on when you first boot it and then you do that, you'll hear the boot sound, it'll restart, and then it'll make the boot sound a second time. And that's how you know you did the PRAM reset properly. And that's pretty much all there is to this, so hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe, help others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!